think there's someone with a lot of capital that's either panicked and they're doing something that I deem to be stupid or foolish, or I think there's someone with a lot of capital that has a different agenda than the rest of us, and we don't understand it. I mean, Bitcoin is really providing everybody in the world with the greatest degree of liquidity and leverage and credit. And maybe you're a fool to short it, but maybe you're a fool to go long the other way. But the point is, that's what makes markets. Everybody's got their opinion, and you might think that you know better, but if somebody wants to panic sell $1 billion of Bitcoin on Saturday night because they heard that missiles got launched because they saw it on X from a stupid troll account, your position is either you're not allowed to do it, I'm going to censor the transaction because you're just not allowed, and I'm the God King of capital markets. Or your position is you're free to do what you want. I think it's stupid of you. There's a phrase, a fool and his money are soon parted. If you're stupid enough to sell $1 billion based on a troll account because you saw a meme and there was no missile strike, or maybe there was, but it didn't matter, you're just going to lose the money.
Don't let market noise shake your confidence. Holding Bitcoin through the chaos is key to long-term gains. MicroStrategy's executive chairman, Michael Saylor, emphasizes that patience and conviction often outshine panic selling or market timing. Despite its volatility, Bitcoin's limited supply and growing demand remain strong fundamentals. Stay tuned as Saylor dives into why Bitcoin's long-term potential is inevitable. And don't forget to subscribe for more finance updates. It's free, and you can always change your mind later.
I think everybody that has a long-term capital plan, if you have a portfolio of assets, or if you have money that you don't need for 4 years, I think the reasonable thing to do is you want to have some portion of it in digital property, in digital capital, that's Bitcoin. And I think 1%, 2% is like an insurance policy. I mean, it's not going to, you're buying an insurance policy so you won't be totally wrecked. 10, 20, 30% would be like a nice allocation, right? If you had a third of your assets in Magnificent Seven stocks or high quality companies, and if you had 20 or 30% in real estate or some kind of high quality collectibles, you want to figure out, what do you want to give to your grandkids? What do you want to retire on? Something scarce, desirable that you want to hold, that you think that someone wealthier than you, more sophisticated than you might want to buy from you 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. If you think about it like that, then I think Bitcoin definitely ought to be part of that portfolio. I mean, everybody's got to decide what percentage of their portfolio. But at this point, we've moved past the point where you would be thinking that the government's going to ban it or take away from you. You're just buying digital property.
So would you say there's almost nothing more important if you have zero Bitcoin than getting off zero and getting that first 0.01?
Look, if you're a mega billionaire, if you're Warren Buffett, I guess it's not really that important to him. But I think if you're middle class, like if you like money, if you want money, there's nothing more important. It's the future of money. Money, me defining money as long-term store of value. I mean, you're not going to get rich by holding currencies in your pocket. You ought to minimize the amount of currency you hold. But if you want to get rich, the time-tested way to get rich is levered long property. You buy scarce, desirable property, and that will preserve your wealth. The way you preserve your wealth is you buy scarce, desirable property. The way you get wealth, the way you create wealth, is you borrow the money from the bank to buy the property. So rich families, it's like, I'm going to buy $1 billion of real estate, but I don't have the billion. So I managed to figure out how to borrow 900 million. And then I went and I raised another 70 million in equity, and I got a 30% promote. And I ended up, when the dust settled, with 30% of $10 billion worth of real estate, and I made $3 billion because, I got highly levered. So I think finding a way to get scarce, desirable property and lever into it is how you get rich. If you want to stay rich, then you want to buy something that's going to appreciate faster than the monetary inflation rate after taxes. And that means that's why you can't store capital in bonds, because no bonds will give you more than the inflation rate after taxes. That means that your best bet is, you pick the next NVIDIA, but good luck, right? It's like you got to pick one out of 500. Maybe you grab a portfolio of Mag 7 stocks and maybe you can beat. But otherwise, if you're not going to do that, then Bitcoin is the best idea. Look, I think Bitcoin is plus 60% a year for the past 4 years. The S&P is plus 5%. The Mag 7 is like plus 25 to 30%. This is not complicated rocket science. The monetary inflation rate, it feels like it's 10% to me. So, should you, if you don't care about money, then I guess it doesn't matter. But if you care about money, if you want more, or you want to keep the money you have, the hurdle rate, for practical purposes is 10%. And, the conventional approach is you buy S&P 500 index and you beat it by a little bit. And then real estate's not that good, because with real estate, you're probably growing less than the 15% and you're getting property tax. And the property tax is a killer for you over time.
Swiss Bitcoin enthusiasts are pushing to amend the constitution, proposing that the Swiss National Bank include Bitcoin in its reserves alongside gold. Officially registered on December 31st, the initiative needs 100,000 signatures by June 30th, 2026, to trigger a referendum. Led by the nonprofit 2B4CH and supported by Bitcoin advocates, this bold move aims to position Switzerland as a financially sovereign, forward-thinking nation. Now back to Michael Saylor for more insights.
Do you think Bitcoin's price is being manipulated by big Wall Street whales?
I think when the price moves in random directions on Saturday night or Sunday morning or during the day, and when it moves in the opposite direction of the way that it ought to naturally move, I think there's someone with a lot of capital that's either panicked and they're doing something that I deem to be stupid or foolish, or I think there's someone with a lot of capital that has a different agenda than the rest of us, and we don't understand it, and that creates volatility. I don't think it's just Wall Street. I mean, the truth is, Bitcoin's just a free market. It's the freest market in capital in the world, and the definition of free market is anybody can manipulate it any way they want until they run out of money. So if you have $100 billion of Bitcoin and on Saturday night you want to sell all $100 billion of Bitcoin all the way down to 1 penny, maybe you can do it. And maybe you have an agenda to do it. I'll probably be buying it when it gets down to the 1 penny, maybe when it gets to the $1. I mean, if you want to call it manipulation, you can, but I wouldn't refer to manipulation as much as enable. It's enabling you to do it, right? Bitcoin's volatile. It's always going to be more volatile than the S&P. The S&P's vol 15 and Bitcoin's vol 60. It's always more volatile, but the reason it's more volatile is because if you had $1 billion and you were in Japan on Saturday night and you just had a panic attack and decided the world's going to plunge into chaos, and if you wanted to take a $10 billion or a $100 billion short position on the economy, the only way you could do it was Bitcoin. But Bitcoin would give you not just the ability to short the market, it would give you the ability to short the market in 1 minute. It would give you the ability to short the market with 100x leverage or 50x leverage or 20x leverage. Okay. The truth is, on Wall Street, normally you can't even short more than 2x. Like, it's very difficult for people to get extreme leverage. I guess in the CME market, they get a bit more leverage in the future. So there they can bring more leverage. But I mean, Bitcoin is really providing everybody in the world with the greatest degree of liquidity and leverage and credit. And maybe you're a fool to short it, but maybe you're a fool to go long the other way. But the point is, that's what makes markets. Everybody's got their opinion, and you might think that you know better, but if somebody wants to panic sell $1 billion of Bitcoin on Saturday night because they heard that missiles got launched because they saw it on X from a stupid troll account, your position is either you're not allowed to do it, I'm going to censor the transaction because you're just not allowed, and I'm the God King of capital markets. Or your position is you're free to do what you want. I think it's stupid of you. There's a phrase, a fool and his money are soon parted. If you're stupid enough to sell $1 billion based on a troll account because you saw a meme and there was no missile strike, or maybe there was, but it didn't matter, you're just going to lose the money. You won't have the money. And so the market gets smarter. And what I would say about all this volatility and all this trading is the very intelligent capitalists that make the right trades are getting richer and more powerful and more influential. And the really stupid capitalists that make the wrong trades are getting poorer and they're getting less powerful, right? And they're becoming irrelevant. And the marketplace is much more complicated than you or I or any regulator or anybody on the face of the earth. And the real beauty, the insane beauty of the Bitcoin network is it is the world's greatest free market. Maybe the greatest free market of anything. I mean, I wonder, is there any product in the world that is traded globally 24/7, 365 in multi-billion-dollar components where everything is connected to everything all the time? I mean, you can't short Manhattan real estate. You can't short gold. You can't trade iPhones. Like you can't panic sell 1 billion iPhones on Saturday night because you think Apple's going under, and you can't, roaring kitty buy 10 million iPhones on Sunday morning. And so I don't know that there's another free market to buy and sell things with or without leverage at any point anywhere that's greater than Bitcoin. So I just think Wall Street is just one of the actors, but if they do stupid stuff, if they manipulate, see, the thing is you can manipulate the price of a stock at 4 p.m. in the evening and knowing that no one's going to touch it until 9:30 the next day. You can't really do that with Bitcoin, because if you manipulate the price of the stock at 4 p.m., it's going to trade another 6 hours. So if you manipulated it down, you would be the loser because people would be buying it cheap, in Japan and China and Europe while you're asleep. And then you're going to wake up and you're going to find that you're naked short and you've lost your shirt. So I think this is a game for adults. And, maybe they short it and they buy it back. And maybe you don't like the fact that they shorted 1 billion in the morning and bought back 1 billion in the afternoon. But a free market person would say, hey, they created liquidity. And because they created liquidity, it trades 10x as much as it would otherwise trade. And because it trades 10x as much, that means that you can actually extract $1 billion in 5 minutes instead of $1 billion in 5 months.
What could go wrong in general that takes it to zero, realistically?
I guess space aliens come down with the, space alien cyber virus, and they hate the human race, and they decide that the best thing in the human race is Bitcoin, and they try to kill it. I rather think that they'll probably just zap us all, before they bother to kill Bitcoin. Some extinction level event, like this. You're on a ship. What could go wrong with your family? Oh, the ship could sink, I guess, rapidly. I mean, the Titanic level, extinction level event. An asteroid could hit the Earth. I mean, that's what took out the dinosaurs. So, I would acknowledge that you could have an existential threat or extinction level event. But that's the case with everything that you can possibly own. I mean, that's an argument for not crossing the street. That's an argument for not putting food in your mouth. That's an argument for not drinking. And that's an argument for not owning anything. It might poison you or it might collapse to zero. But beyond that, I think most of the turbulence in the future is just political volatility. It's like, oh, the Chinese are going to block it. Oh, that's bad. Oh, the Chinese are going to embrace it. That's bad. Oh, the Chinese didn't block it. That's bad. Oh, the Chinese, it's like people speculating about what the Chinese will do, what the Russians will do, what the government will do. And that causes, they're going to raise the interest rates. That's bad. They're going to lower the interest rates. That's bad. It'll be, the entire asset is very exposed to macroeconomic volatility. I think it's a feature. I think it's what makes it the greatest asset in the world. But there are a lot of people that don't like volatility, and they would just like everything to be smooth and calm and easy. They're always going to perceive it as a little bit scary.
Swiss Bitcoin advocates propose adding Bitcoin to the Swiss National Bank's reserves alongside gold. The initiative, requiring 100,000 signatures by June 2026, aims to position Switzerland as a financially sovereign leader.